Showtime. Hello, everybody. It's showtime. Thank you for coming and welcome to Garden Quilt and Art Show. I see my sister, Joanne Stevens, is here bright and early. Thank you, Sissy. I appreciate you. Maria Graham, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I noticed that I just rushed in here. I'm like, let me fix my clothes going sideways. I was like running in the door late for school, right? Fix my clothes going sideways. I think it just kicked in because I hear an echo. I didn't turn my phone volume down. So I hope everybody had a good day. I had a busy day running around, picking up last minute things and not shopping. Well, yeah, I guess I did go shopping if you call getting bananas and a couple gallons of distilled water for my vaporizer. Hi, Val. How are you doing? I admire you, all the earrings you make and all of the beading that you do. And I appreciate you sending me the pieces to make some earrings. And I just wanted to tell you, I'm not forgetting about it. I was saving it for after my surgery when I won't be able to lift and carry things. And I don't know how you do the beading when I watch you almost every day for a long time. I put you on in the background and because you have such a soft voice and it's so peaceful and sticking all the beads on one at a time. I would probably have magnifying glasses on. Mike, thank you for coming and welcome. I appreciate you. So, how is the weather where everybody is? Sissy, are you getting more rains and monsoons? Mike, you were having hot weather out there. I don't know where Valerie is, the jewelry spot. I don't know if it's somewhere warm. She said, thank you. They will be perfect when you need something to do. I have them right here. I have them right here. I took them to Arizona. Actually, Auntie Joanne is the queen of beads and making beads. We were going to make some sister earrings. We never got to it. I was so busy running around. Mike says, now it's cold again. Oh, speaking of Valsy, here's some elastic for bracelets, some trays for laying out. So I'm going to actually looking forward to it. These are some seed pearls and cowrie beads, cowrie shells that I plan on. Old books. Auntie Joanne has the same book. I don't know whether we bought them together years ago or great minds think alike or what. Fifi, you were warm today. You did yard work. I saw you like over the week, you and your girls out there, the chickens and whatnot. Yeah, so I is anybody else besides me tired? I actually took a nap this afternoon and I woke up by myself. I don't know whether because I usually set my clock just so that I don't oversleep or get busy, distracted. But I started getting ready to come in here. I had everything set up. I usually do of things that I want to show you. I can't wait. I'll let a few more people come in. Mike, you and all those hydroponic systems. I I don't know. This year my hydroponic system doesn't seem to be doing what I wanted to do. I changed my fertilizer. I bought some off-brand from Amazon. Up until now in my hydroponics, I have been using Aero Garden, brand name Aero Garden fertilizer. And everything was perfect when I used that. And then I was trying to be cheap and save a couple dollars, and I brought a different one. I don't know whether I didn't mix it properly, but I don't like the second one. I left it in a container last year, just a random container that I pre-mix it in, and it got like some funky looking mold in it or something. So I didn't use anymore. Simone, that's my great granddaughter, you guys. She's the one that does all the baking. Not all the baking, we all do the baking, but she has a baking business on IG. Her site is Moni Made Them, and she's 20 years old, and she makes the most amazing pastries. Everybody, even the almost 16-year-old great grandson, he likes sweets. He'll like baking. They all have a little sweet tooth, and Nana always spoiled them making them. Maria Graham says, "Hi, Simone Ross West. I don't know if they're in the chat. Mike's Chaotic Gardening. These are my friends, Moni, and they're saying hello to you. Why? Because good friends become family, and family is everything. So, hello, Mother. That means Mommy is watching. I was going to call you before the live, Mom, but I took a little nap and woke up too late. I will call you tonight, Mommy, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm coming early so that I don't get stuck in the Super Bowl traffic. So I might duck out of church a little bit early so I can get there. Love you guys. It's so nice, you guys. I tell you that I'm part of 6 living generations. So, mommy, we'll count down like from the six. My mother's six, I'm five, my daughter is four, Simone's mother, Sharita is three, Simone's generation is two, and her son would be the first, meaning the youngest generation. When Simone was a little girl, I used to go get her on the weekends, and I had a house around the corner from here. And I would bring all her pajamas. Her mother would have everything packed up for the weekend. And we would get to my house, and I would say, Simone, do you want to put your pajamas on? Or do you want to wear one of Nana's big old t shirts? She said, one of Nana's t shirts. My t shirts would be like down to her feet. I would let her jump on my bed, and then we would go out in the backyard, and I had trees and bushes that overgrew this little bench. I don't know if you remember that, Simone. And it was our secret garden. We could sit in there with our nightgowns and have our juice in the morning, and nobody could see us out there in our underwears, our night clothes, and just doing a lot of gardening and flowers and playing with the puppies. Simone loves dogs. At that time, I used to be a breeder of and I used to breed and show Cane Corso Italian Italian Mastiffs. Simone said she loved that, the good old days. I used to spoil her. I used to teach an after school class with middle school kids. And on Christmas, we would go to Radio City Music Hall. So we could bring a guest. So one year, Simone was my guest. And we were walking downtown New York City. It was amazing holding her little hand. Then the bus driver stopped at like a gas station. They didn't have toll booths then. And then her mother came and picked her up. We had so much fun. She was the youngest one there watching the Christmas show in 3D. Oh, Casing's 55. Hello. Thank you for coming and welcome. I was going to show it later, but I want to show you something. This is something that you can do for your gardens. You can do it with children. This is a great, great, great project. And this is a project I did with my great grandchildren. Do you remember this, Simone? Their mother used to pack. Let me pull this down some so I don't have to hold my arm so high. One summer they said, Mommy, are we going to camp this summer? And their mother said no. Camp was crazy expensive for 3 kids. And they said, You're going to Nana camp. So they came to North Carolina, to my North Carolina homestead, and we set up a big one of those pop-up tents you have like when you have shows and stuff, and they put tarps down, they put rows of tables and chairs, and that was their office in the summer. So we had Nana camp, and the kids made the sign. I took some stencils. Do you see what year it is? 2012. That was 12 years ago. And I traced a stencil that says Nana Camp, and Simone and her sister and brother filled them in. Isn't this pretty? And we would put the sign out, and that was their office. That summer, we went to my friends. My friends had big properties. I only had 4 acres, and we would pick apples. We would go to their orchards, and the kids would pick up apples and put them in 5-gallon buckets. And we would come back, and they would feed them to the goats and the chickens and hold them in their hand. And we had Maria Graham says it's a beautiful sign, kids. And we would have so much fun. We would go to the park, and I found out the meaning of having your own land, because you can do whatever you want. Mike's Chaotic Gardening saying, Hello, Mom. Hello, Mother. Mommy Clara. They're saying hi to you. Hi, Mom. And they could do whatever they wanted to do. So one day her sister was making a lot of noise. She wanted to cry. She wanted to scream. I said, You want to scream? Go ahead. It's fine. They were on there was a front deck and a side deck. So her sister went out on the side deck. She's screaming to the top of her lungs, and people are riding by on the state road, like maybe 152 yards away, and they're waving. Oh, look at those little kids over there screaming to their heart's content. And I said, that's the difference when you have your own land. And you can do whatever it is that you want to do. So their brother said that he was going to get a lot of land one day and have a lot of animals. And I have a picture, I don't know where it is, of Hershey's puppies. Hershey's wife lives where Simone and Mommy are the house that they're in. And when Amber had the puppies, Simone's hand was little, and she had this little puppy that fell asleep in her hand. It was so cute. I'm trying to see my comments. They're not showing up down the bottom. Let me go out, excuse me, and come back in and see if I can see them. Casings55 says her granddaughter would like to make that. She loves drawing and painting. Francesca isn't here right now. Maybe she'll see the replay. What this is just plain sailcloth. And I cut it off. I did a little zigzag stitch on the sides and hemmed it. This thing is old. I folded it up after that summer, and I keep it. And I love this little rainbow they painted. And I don't know if this is a dragonfly or a butterfly. Looks a little suspect to me. Joanne Stevens is saying, Hello, Marie Graham. Mike's Chaotic Gardening. Fifi's Homestead and Lifestyle, the Jewelry Channel. And they even made one with some bling bling, some shiny. So that was our farming days. I want to show you guys, the other night, Thursday, I was sewing and showing how to put a binding on. This binding, we sewed it on from the back. I showed how to miter a corner. and sew it down. We did finish it. And the only thing we didn't do on Thursday night was put a label on it, a label on it. Excuse me. So just want you to know that during my 15 minutes of what I do, because I do art a little bit every day, what I do for 15 minutes, my pledge is to do something that I dread doing, something that I don't consider fun, but it needs to be done and to keep the program running, keep it going forward. So in this case, it was putting the label on here and putting the labels on some key fobs. Simone bought her first car. She graduated from high school. She bought her own first car. And so I gave her a key fob for her car. Hello, David Corey with the Cropper. Thank you for coming. I want to thank each and every one of you who are here, those of you who will be watching the replay, my mother who is in the bushes, my great granddaughter who is actually in the chat. I don't know. I have to look and see. Let me see, Simone. I don't know your. Oh, Simone, I see you. Okay, so Simone, because Nana needs some help. So when Nana needs help, these kids are really good with the computer. She can be a moderator and she can help Nana and show me how to do things. They're so funny. Sometimes I'm doing something. They're like, Nana, don't do that. Do this, do this, do that. Fifi saying hello, Joanne Stevens. I'm looking on my cell phone. David Corey with crop. David, I saw you. What were you doing? Oh, leveling out some ground for your garden. It's actually warm here in Connecticut. It was 43 degrees, but it's supposed to snow or have some kind of a storm on Tuesday. So I have a couple other things to show you other than those of you like the jewelry spot. You can make your own signs. Like when you go to jewelry shows, people love this. People love handmade things. And if you don't have any kids at home to do it, you can do your own. You can do your own. The kids picked these colors out. They picked what order they wanted to put them in. I didn't do it, and they helped me with a lot of things. They cook. They She made her first quilt that summer. I took them to a quilt shop in town, and I gave them $20. That's not enough money to make a twin size quilt, but I really had everything at home to make quilts because I had a 1,500 square foot studio with a long arm and everything, and and they could have just gotten it from my stash, but I wanted them to be able to have the experience of going and selecting stuff in a new place, not just Nana's place. And they were supposed to be laying their quilt patterns out, these little rascals. And I think some of you, this might be a repeat story. I heard a bunch of laughing. Simone and I were working on sewing her blocks together for her quilt. Simone picked mostly batiks back then, and her favorite color is purple. So she had purples and blues and lavenders and batiks. And then she got some out of Nana's stash. But the other two were in there playing hopscotch on the on the doggone quilt blocks. Cutting hair, good people. Sorry, I can't speak. That's okay, David. Get that money. Get that money. You want a quilt? We got to get the fabric so you can get it. Actually, excuse me, allergies, you guys. I used my puff puff before I sat down because I was out and it was kind of like foggy this morning. So I guess it's my allergies are acting up. So I just want to encourage all of you to do what you love and love what you do. David Corey does a lot of pouring pouring acrylics and stuff. And David, I'm not blowing up your spot, but the last time you went live the other night, I don't know where you were, but you weren't home. You weren't in your usual recording room. I'm gonna blow up your spot. You're usually in the room with the red walls and all the art on the walls. You were somewhere with the gray walls and something. Oh, yes, we noticed. We noticed. So, you guys, the kids did not make a rag quilt. I made a quilt with sewn in seams because I had the long arm at the time and I finished it for them. Just a minute. Hershey, come here. I want to show you something, Simone. So, when I'm at mom's house and I'm in one of the bedrooms there spending the night, all the kids come in Nana's room. We play games. We had one game on everybody was on their iPad, and it was how many times you can touch this thing. I don't know if someone remembers it. Her mother and three kids and myself are all in Nana's little room playing games together. Nancy, our treasured home, says hello. Nancy, did you have your procedure? Are you okay? I know you're saying hello, but I just want to make sure that you're okay. But this is an example of three quilts. It's an example of a memory quilt, a weighted blanket, which is used for people with anxiety, whatever. Why? Because it's heavy. This quilt is really heavy, like the old quilts that grandma had on the bed. If this was a full-size quilt, it would be it would be heavy. It would be one of the ones you have to push the covers back, then turn over and roll it back up because it's heavy. And even though it's only this one is because it has a label. Nancy says her procedure went well and she went home the same day. Good for you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, God. Amen. And I hope you continue to do well. So here is the birth certificate for this quilt. It was made by me, and it's a memory quilt in honor of my dad. Excuse me. It has his dates of birth, March 27th, 1927, and his date of passing was February 22nd, 2008. So I took a bunch of his old pants and shirts and I made memory quilts for my mother, all my siblings. I have two brothers and two sisters living, for my daughter, for my cousin Kenny, who is like a brother. His dad and my dad are brothers. Nancy says, believe me, the pacemaker makes a big difference. Good for you. And she's saying, our treasured home is saying, hi, Joanne. Glad you're home, treasured home. Marie Graham is saying. So I'm going to show you guys why somebody asked me what I make my quilts out of. I generally make my quilts out of 100% cotton. Why? A resilient dad says, Guam, gross words per minute. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your support. I appreciate each and every one of you. So this is made of my dad's old work clothes. He had a construction business, and when I touch this quilt, it is so touching to me. I want to show you some of the blocks. Like this block, I know from touching it, this block, I know it still has the paint on it from him painting all these houses to support his family. I ran out of fabric when I got to my quilt because I made so many out of his old clothes. And what happened is that my mother gave me, I moved back into the family home in, I think, 1997. 1997. Oh, our treasured home. Thank you for becoming a new member. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you guys. So Daddy, these clothes, when I look at him, all those years of him coming home, yes, you see these holes. That's why I took it out to show you this quilt. I have been using this quilt every day for since 2015, and I made it. I made my quilt last after everybody else's because I made everyone's first. This block, I didn't quite have enough fabric. So the front of this block, I bought some new flannel that kind of fit in like the others. Oh, our church at home said she wanted her membership to be a surprise. Thank you. Thank you. Tell Anastasia I said hello. Anastasia Simone is her granddaughter. You're my great granddaughter, but that's her granddaughter. But I'm going to show you guys. So then I knew the front of the quilt. I wanted everybody to see it. This is actually the easiest quilt to make, but the only thing is you need a sewing machine. So I knew that Daddy would not be wanting pink in his quilt. That's just the kind of dad he was. Other people do, other people do, and there's nothing wrong. I love to see a man in pink, especially in honor of breast awareness. And but I want to show you what happens with flannel. What happens? Oh, one year for Father's Day, I bought a shirt. Hello, Tampa's Creek Homestead. I bought a shirt for my dad and me and my son Aaron, exactly alike, and it had this purple in it, this rainbow purple. He was like, "What in the heck? What is that?" He wore it. Hey, famous with a Y. Thank you for coming and welcome, welcome, welcome. And that's probably him in heaven poking holes in this block. He didn't like the he didn't like the especially like this shirt, but he wore it. Why? Because the good daughter bought it. But look what happens with flannel, you guys. You see how flannel wears out? The only blocks in this quilt are that are worn out. Look at this. So the reason I have it out is, am I going to throw my quilt away? Oh, no, no, I'm going to patch it. So I just want to show those of you who have old quilts that have holes in them. This block is kind of a fidget block. What is a fidget block? People with dementia, people with anxiety, kids with kids with learning disabilities, gives them something to do, keeps them busy. So after I sewed this pocket on here, you go the opposite way. I forget when I'm looking at this, I have to go the opposite way. So I sewed the pocket on, then I took some of the buttons off. The buttons didn't belong here, and it just gave me something to do. And when I was at mom's house, on my bed, the kids would put little notes in here, say, I love you. Or like Halloween, they would put little candies in the pocket and hide things. I was legally blind for a while. They would put my TV remote in there so I could find it. Rooted in essential oils, famous for saying, hey, Joanne Stevens. And so I'm going to be repairing it. When I got to this quilt, I didn't have enough just fabric blocks. So I used the pockets. The pockets. How many? So we're going to do something with our hands tonight, and I'm going to let you guys just decide what I'm going to do. Rooted in essential oils. Thank you for your membership. Yay! For those of you who would like to help the channel to grow, the monthly membership is $1.99, and it helps me to get little things I need for the channel. I only use it for technical things and things to help, like I said, the channel to grow. A resilient dad. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you. I appreciate the things that each of you do to help to support the channel. Love on love from the Bay with much respect. Keep sharing the knowledge, Auntie. Thank you so much. And we need some quilt for little ARD. And but I want to go back to this one for now. And when I touch this quilt, I can still feel like some of the paint on my dad's shirt from him working so hard to support us. So tonight I planned to show you guys the difference between thread painting. Thread painting is something you do on fabric, and this is what you call embroidery over here on my apron. Thread painting is usually done on two layers of fabric where the batting is and the top fabric, and you're putting a whole lot of stitching on it to hold the pieces together. Nikki, the everyday life of an OCD-ish chick. Thank you for coming, Nikki. And you guys, Nikki will be going live on the chat immediately after I go off at 7 o'clock. So we'll all hike over. I've had you on my mind and heart, Auntie Ellen. I know the surgery is coming up and praying all goes well and that you have a speedy recovery. Thanks, you guys. This will be my last broadcast before my surgery. I'm going to try to go live from the hospital after my surgery on Thursday to let you guys know I'm okay, but I don't know what will be going on with the Wi-Fi. So but it will be a short surgery in the hospital, and it's a knee replacement. And I thought about you, famous, rooted in essential oils, because for those of you who have not been to his channel, he has a vaporizer and his channel is about what he says it's about essential oils. And thank you for your membership. Thank you for your membership. And the essential oils in this vaporizer, you put a few drops in the vaporizer and it's dispersed all over the room. I would show you guys mine, except mine is plugged in. I use it every day. And I like to put tea tree oil in mine, a few drops of tea tree oil or peppermint oil in mine. And I buy mine by the big 16-ounce bottles because I do use a lot of essential oils. When I need some more, I will be getting some from Famous, and he does sell them. Those of you whose name is in blue, they are moderators and they help keep me together. I call Nikki all the time. Nikki, how do you do this? She'll say, go up into the corner, find the three dots, and do this and do that. I don't bug her so much now, but I appreciate it. A resilient dad, I thought about you today. I I believe to whom much is given, much is required. That's what the Bible says. So Maria Graham purchased a small quilt from me. Hey, Deborah Garrett, thank you for coming and welcome. And I sold a Hudson bought a bag from me, and a resilient dad gave a bag to as in his giveaway. It's on its way to Canada. I don't know if it got there yet. And so there were 4 people that contributed to me. And so today, I don't usually give money in the streets. I don't, I just don't. I give to organizations. But there's one guy that's on like the middle of the street, not too far from where I go to the store almost a couple times a week, or the post office. And he says he's homeless. I don't know whether he's homeless, but it seems like he's there every day. He's got his little stand in the middle of the street where the several lanes of traffic going this way. So I rolled down the window. Maybe this was trifling, and I folded 2 $1 bills and the long way so that I wouldn't have to touch skin. And I put my hand out the window. Do you guys remember the hand signals when you were stopping, left turn, right turn? Or were all of you born like Simone when you had signal lights in cars? Back in the old days, we hardly had air conditioner. We used to roll the windows down roll them down, no electric windows, no AC either, by the way, and do a hand signal to, like, you're turning left, turning right, stop. So I put my hand out so the car in back of me would stop, and I gave him $2. And then I went somewhere else. Oh, I went in the grocery store to get some bananas, some fruit and things. And when I came out, there were two ladies and a bunch of little kids. And I know they were collecting money for a football team because there was a poster of a football there. Hey, Mala'a, thank you for coming and welcome. And the one child looked at me, and I don't mean to, I'm trying to be gender neutral. Trying to learn how to say that because I don't want to say boys and girls. I'm told that's socially incorrect. My children have told me, my grandchildren have told me. So I'm learning how to say, but one child looked me in the eye and kind of looked around. So I stopped my cart because I wanted to give them some money for this football team. And he looked away, they looked away, they looked back at me. And I said, I was waiting for you to look at me because we made eye contact and you didn't say anything. I said, I wanted to give you something for your team, but I said, I already have grandchildren and great grandchildren and great great grandchildren and a mom. If I have extra money, I'm going to give my money to them. Why should I give money to you? You didn't even speak to me. So their mother said, see, we were just telling them how to address people and look at them. I said, when I was growing up, my dad told us to look in people's eye. You know, you can tell a lot about a person by looking in their eyes. If you don't feel safe, I tell the children, don't say anything. But they were there, in a safe place at the shopping center outside the grocery store with two parents. To get a bike license, we had to show we knew hand signals. Exactly, Mike. Exactly. So our treasured homes, those were the days. Oh, going back to those days, I'll get back to the kids in a minute. There were six kids and my grandmother. When we used to go on vacation in the summer, we would go to spend a week in Pennsylvania and a week in North Carolina. Well, there weren't any seatbelts in the cars either. And so there'll be all of us little kids in the back seat, usually my grandmother. My mom and dad would be in the front seat with like one or two of the kids. And my baby sister Della would have her butt spread across all of our laps in the back. And Daddy would say, let her park her truck. She needs room. We would be so mad. Get off of me. Get off. Get off. One time, speaking of memories, we were going across the Delaware Memorial Bridge, which is between Delaware and Maryland. And there was a car that was driving real reckless in and out of traffic. And the bridge was not divided at all. And when we got to a part in the bridge, there was a horrific car accident. And this guy that was driving like a jerk hit a car head on, and somebody had a baby on their lap. The baby was like in the windshield. A couple of people died in that car accident. And my dad pulled over because he witnessed it. Then he had to go back to Delaware for the trial to say what we saw. Casing said, I remember hand signals. You could use them if your turn signals or brake lights were out. Exactly. So we saw these two little kids. So I stopped and I said, people have been kind to me. I have a couple dollars extra change, even though so many of my medical things are uncovered. I have 3 insurance plans and they don't even pay for my ice machine. They don't even pay for my ice machine. But my mother had a big surgery, and they made her pay cash for an ice machine, and then she didn't use it, so she let me borrow hers, and I will be using her ice machine. They're going to charge me like $350 for 1 month to rent the top of the line ice machine. Now, my therapist said that when she had her hip and two knee replacements, she used packs of peas and she put those. I said, well, I have 3 gel packs for different things that will cover like the whole side of my face, a whole knee, and I switch them out. I rotate them for different ouch me's. And Mala'a says, hello, Joanne. And I keep them in the freezer. So I figure somewhere, and then my son, whose boss is super wealthy, said to me, because I was going to hit him up, say, Aaron, I need you to pay for my ice machine and my glasses. I owe $200 that's not covered by my insurance for my glasses. So I called him up and I said, well, I need to get this top of the line ice machine. Hey, Gina, thank you for coming and thank you for being a patron member of the Garden Quilt and Art Show. So he was saying, well, Mom, my boss does not have any financial issues. He's not retired on a fixed income, and he bought his ice machine. You can buy one on Amazon. So I looked it up, and I'm like, you know what? I can buy an ice machine for less than I can rent one. And Aaron has it broken down. He works in an accounting firm. He's an IT supervisor. Jason Bender, thank you for coming from Appleton, Wisconsin. You made some catches for people in the hospital since 1990. And you also make Christmas stockings for little babies. And God bless everyone from Appleton. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And if it's your first time, please consider joining the family and becoming a member. We appreciate you. Why? Because good friends become family, and family is everything. I'm not crying, you guys. My eyes water. Well, that eye does anyway. So going back to the kids at the store. So I said, you know what? I was blessed in that I sold a small quilt. I have money to cover my medical expenses, some of the out of pocket expenses. So I looked at my wallet and I said, all the ones that I have left in my wallet, I usually don't have cash, but I've been carrying cash lately, just some. And I said, so all of the ones I have in my wallet, I'm going to give to you kids. So I did. But I just wanted to give them a talk about being responsible, being polite, and how to treat adults. And don't just sit up there on your cell phone or your iPad clicking. Make eye contact, engage people, and you'll get a lot further in life. Smile. Smile. I remember I worked for a phone bank in college, and they told us, well, they told me 2 things. Jason Bender says, talking about ice machines, she remember her grandmother had a snow cone machine. It was red and had Snoopy on the top, and she would make us colored eyes. We could go out here in Connecticut, Jason, in the wintertime and get white snow, no yellow snow. And my aunt showed us how to put carnation milk in it and make ice cream. We had a real an ice cream maker that we used to make the custard. I was in charge of making the vanilla custard, and I would make all my younger sisters and brothers churn it until it got to the end. Even though it was harder, I wanted it at the end. Why? Because my greedy butt wanted to take the blades out and be the first one to get that good ice cream off of the blades. So we're going to spend our 15 minutes doing something over there in the studio. Oh, and it's Sonia Sigler. I heard somebody saying her name, which is interesting, Sonia, because I have a daughter named Sonia. Everybody else says Sonia. She's the only one I know named Sonia until you. So, Sonia, I'm saying your name correctly. The jewelry spot said she had that one too. So, do you guys want to see me? Want me to show you how to repair some holes in an old quilt? I'm also going to make this quilt longer and wider so that it covers more than my butt. I mean, more of my butt, because it says that this quilt is 42 inches wide and 66 inches long. Well, I'm 63 and a half inches long. So I wanted to come up longer and snuggle me more. And I could use a little bit more around these hips too. Our treasured home said yes. So Nancy, do you want me to fix this quilt or show you some quilting and thread painting? Put a 1 if you want me to thread paint. Put a 2 if you want me to show you how to make some repairs in Daddy's old quilt. So this is why I prefer cotton. When you guys ask me what I use in my quilts, I use 100% cotton because cotton lasts longer. This soft part that's on the flannel, I'm going to see if I can hold this real close. And also, you see where it naps up? This was good flannel. This wasn't cheap flannel. These are some added blocks, but the flannel, by being soft, it's going to wear out much sooner than the others. Tampa Creek says both. Well, we're gonna leave at 7 o'clock today to go over to the chat. Okay, so you guys want to see, oh, and it smells so good. So because of my surgery, they gave us a list of requirements. So I washed all the pillows on my bed. I had my helper change the bed. I did everything because when you're having a lot of skin that's going to be cut open, you want to make sure that you don't get MRSA or whatever else is going around. And oh, you know what, you guys? What I found out, and it's really shocking, I'm turning slowly, that this is the first time in several years you don't even have to take a COVID test before the surgery. And wearing a mask is optional. Well, I have respiratory issues. This girl is wearing her mask. She's wearing her mask. I get on everybody's nerves. I wear my mask. So, thread painting, the difference between thread painting. Oh, and you guys, I love sharing my patterns with you. But when I share my original patterns, I would love it if you make my pattern, if you put hashtag GQUAT when you show your quilts. So this is the backing, the batting on a quilt. When you're thread painting, you do it like this so that you don't see all those stitches when you're doing your final finishing on your quilt. This, if I were going to stitch it, I have to finish this. This is a small art quilt. Yeah, it's sideways. This is an art quilt. And what you see is, because remember what I told you, things in the distance are lighter than things that are coming forward. So I started with light fabrics at the top and made the ground darker at the bottom to make it look like you were closer in the tree. And this one, I will just be going around the edges because it does not need a lot of painting. So one of the other things I did in my 15 minutes a day, I sewed labels in key fobs. I hate sewing labels, these little tiny labels. So I did that so that when it's gift time or giveaway time, I will have some. I also worked on some neck bone pillows. So what am I going to do with this? I'm going to put my cell phone over here and go to the bottom because I'm missing a lot. Okay, so I will find a block on this quilt. And by the way, Sonia Sigler is saying hello to everybody. So just say you have one of your grandmother's old quilts. So will work. Oh, look at this block. There's one block that is like totally, look at this one. This one is so sad. I guess this one's in the worst shape. So I guess I'll work on this one. This is the actual batting sticking out. It's all worn out. Bayou Sugar says, hello, Auntie Ellen and everyone in the chat. So what you want to do, you're just patching it. This piece that's hanging loose, we will start off just by cutting anything that's like obviously loose, hanging off. So this one is in the worst shape. This will be an easy fix though. It's like worn down to the bone. Down to the bone. So let me look. This is a box of old scraps. This is actually the kids' old clothes. So let me see if I can find something easy. This I know won't wear out quickly. Oh yeah, how about that? That actually is an almost exact fit. I think it was because when I was cutting these blocks out, I was trying to cut out blocks to make another quilt this size, and I didn't get around to it. Okay, so I see this pocket's this way, this pocket's this way. So there'll just be 3 pockets in a row. How about that? Or let me see if I can find a different color pocket, something that's different. This happens to be all the pockets I cut out of Simone and Sydney and Cam's old jeans when Nana cut them up. But you see, they were little then, and I actually like the feel of this one. I want it to be soft. I'm going to use this one, even if it is almost the same color as the one next door, or maybe not. Okay, so do you guys want me to put this one with the flowers? Number 1? No, this was the second one. Number 2? Or this one, number 1? Because this will be a quick patch. Quick. Show me which one you want me to put. Actually, this one is not the right size. This one is bigger. I must have been planning on using it for a pocket. Okay. Some people say 2, some people say 1. So since the ones, there are more 1s than 2s, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this on here. And this is what you can do to fix one of your old quilts. Of course, you will be using probably cotton if you want it to last a long time. So I'm going to turn this heavy duty machine on, increase my stitch length to 3, put the thread in the back, and put my pedal to the metal. So the first thing I'm going to do is sew it close to the pocket. Why? Because when you're quilting, you always start in the inside. So a couple stitches forward, couple back. So what I'm doing is stitching around the pocket and just holding it down. This is my little collapsible ironing board, and I'm going to try to hold it sort of straight. I love this heavy duty machine. It sews through anything. So when you're sewing a big quilt, You actually roll it up, do something to get it through. This is called the throat of the sewing machine. So I'm just going to feed it through, try not to tangle up the threads. Come through again, lift it. It's a little bit awkward putting it under, but that's why I put this pin here to hold it, and you just make it work. Am I putting this in a quilt show? No. This is a functional quilt, a utility quilt. So I'm just trying to make it so it does what? It keeps me warm and keeps me happy. And it reminds me of my daddy. Everybody who knows me, has ever known me, will tell you I'm a daddy's girl. Spoiled rotten. My mother will tell you that. If she came up alive, she would say, oh, she was the worst one. Her and her daddy. So I'm just sewing around this pocket, giving a little facelift over here. And if you guys, we still have a few more minutes here before the chat starts. So I'm going around this pocket this way because I want to show you what I'm going to do since it's a rag quilt. So I'm just going to go over near where the corner was because it's fringed, right? So I'm not going to sew all the way. I'm not going to sew all the way to the edge. I'm going to leave a big hem so that I can fringe it. And I just want to show you what you can do to patch a quilt. I thought it had broken. So I'm going to double stitch around here. Go. And on this side, I'm going to stitch it to enough where I leave enough fabric that I can fringe it. So I'm going to pull this through. If I can get the edge of it. Okay. We're almost done. Oh, I want to go actually closer to the edge. That's a little bit too much fringe. Okay. Now, and you might have to fight with a little bit to find the edge to pull through, but you'll make it work. And because I have this tall thread stand, I don't have to worry about pulling it out. But we're getting to the exciting part because I'll show you how I'll finish this one, and this one won't be threadbare anymore. And there are different ways you can go about sewing, repairing anything. Okay, now this is the last seam, and I'll show you how I make this block look like it was here all the time. All right. And I'm just going to sew across the bottom. And up to where the other stitching was. This is stretchy fabric and I pulled it, so I'm just pulling it back down again. And that's okay. So that's a wrap. So this is what I'm going to do. With a rag quilt, what you do is you take it and you make little 1/4 inch. I make mine 1/4 inch cuts, right? So I'm going to take these and I'm going to snip this. Maybe I will do it on my lap. So this is what I'm doing. I have special scissors for snipping them, but what I'm doing is snipping along the sides, and this will just blend in with the rest of it. When it's washed, it's going to fringe up just like this because that's how these were. Take the pin out, take the pin out, and look. Daddy's quilt is no longer raggedy. So this one on the end is the new one that was threadbare. How about that? So that's how one way of fixing an old quilt. I will be doing more on this quilt. Why? Because it needs more work and I use it every day. No matter what's on my bed, how fancy my quilts are, this one is nearby and it comforts me. It comforts me. It's like a hug. It smells good. I just washed it yesterday, Friday. So this one's going to have to last another 25 years. So this is how I fixed it, and I will be making some more. I have some other, what I wanted to show you. I have some smaller strips like this. I'm going to sew them together like I did a couple weeks ago and just make a patch instead of the one with the pocket. I'm going to make a piece to go in one of those raggedy places. So I want to thank each of you for coming tonight. Peace, love, and blessings. I, in American Sign Language, love you. I love you. Do what you love and love what you do because good friends become family and family is everything. My Renaissance grandma, hello, hello, hello. We're going to get some more into our herbs and infusions too because I have a lot of herbs I'll be working on. And during my recovery, I will be drinking a lot of bone broth. I have all those jars up there. Those are the ones that won't even fit in my pantry. So I will be making my own infused oils, extractions, all kinds of stuff. Love you guys. I will meet you over at the chat and see what they're doing tonight over there. Love you. Love you, Mom. Love you, fam. All of you. Good friends become family, and family is everything.